Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I had things planned today that I was planning on doing later tonight, but as they say, things tend to change. So instead, I thought that I would come on and discuss remembrance and respect within satanic community, specifically that of satanic unions. It doesn't matter if you're in a coven. It doesn't matter if you're a solitary practitioner. It is always a good thing to observe the four great Sabbaths of the year, specifically that of the black ones, the satanic ones. But most importantly, we must also remember those that have sacrificed and given so much to our path, things that they've sacrificed, things that they've given up, the hardships that they've dealt with over the years, such as scrutiny by fellow Satanists, mostly due to atheistic Satanism. Okay. Now, like the individual I'm speaking on, I too do not condone atheistic Satanism. I find it to be distasteful because it is duality, it's hypocrisy. It's just basically playing the reversed JCI, Judo Christian institutions. Now, the 13 laws of the Brotherhood of Satan, which the order of the Brotherhood of Satan was actually founded in North Carolina, but their main headquarters is in Richmond, Virginia, and they also have another branch in San Francisco. Now, they also have a headquarters in Tennessee as well, and Missouri region of the U.S. Now, I just want to take the time to read you something real fast before I go on. The 13 laws of the Brotherhood. Okay. The ancestors of our dark craft should always be remembered, for they guide and protect us from the shadows. Okay. Always honor and respect another of the Brotherhood, regardless of rank or knowledge or gender. For we are the true daughters and sons of Satan's family, together and united in the darkness. Always honor the old ways of our dark craft by observing the 4 black Sabbaths. Attend the traditional satanic black mass once a year to commune with Satanas and his demons. Okay, that is 1 through 4. Okay, of the 13 laws of the Brotherhood of Satan. Now, hello, salute. There are many statutes that have been written over the years for Satanism. That was just one of them. We all know the ones from Anton Zandaleve, who announced himself on national television as a devil worshiper. If you don't believe me, look him up. He's right there. He's did this right on YouTube. It's a video right here on YouTube. And he physically came out and said, I am a devil worshiper. Okay. Now, to quote a friend and brother, Myrmidon Pontifex Maximus, let me just get to the page that I'm looking for here real fast. All right. All right. The Prayer to Satan by Myrmidon Pontifex Maximus. Almighty Satan, save me from the treacherous and the violent. Mark with vengeance those who would hinder me, for I am your humble servant. Thou art the Lord of the darkest pit that brings my soul to greatest joy. Thou art the one and original motivator of humanity. Those who cannot see this deserve no pity. I ask that you place in my path those who will be destroyed by me. Grant me the power to do so. I ask that you place in my path those puzzles that I am to solve. Grant me the wisdom to do so. I ask that you place in my path those challenges that I am to overcome. Grant me the strength to do so. Be my path left or right. My final destination is your kingdom. That which is to die will die. That which is to burn shall burn. He or she is to find salvation in the arms of the Dark Lord shall do so. For the Lord of my destiny is Satan, Ave Satanus. Okay. That's page 45 in Tentatio Diabolus. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? I know you're probably asking yourself that. Now, I've been an outspoken traditional Satanist for years now. Okay. I have studied theistic and spiritual Satanism. I have even walked and practiced it for years. But traditional Satanism is the path that I follow outside of necromancy. Now, today, when I got on Facebook, a brother, George M. LeBolt, who also works with Severed Heads Publishing, informed social media that a very well-known author and spiritual leader has perished. This man was the head of the Cathedral of the Black Goat for many years until they pulled away. Now, from what I understand, this group literally pulled away from that order and because they didn't like the way it was going. So, to find out that this man had taken his own life, okay, that seems to happen quite regularly with a few individuals because of the fact that it's either their time or they've just got nothing else to do and they've sunk into depression. But a lot of times it is that mental illness that could have been averted. So, but it's both a shock and a state of respect at the same time for those who knew this man. So, Voca Clocker, well, I can't even speak today for some reason. Voca Colacus Aureax Magus. Okay. author of the Book of the Divine Black Flame of Satan. He basically took his own life, from what I understand, and this kind of put a hindrance on what I had planned because I've talked with this man a couple of times, and I've also talked with Mirmadan and Setanito and George. I've been friends with George Emerald for years. So, I mean, to find out this aspect, it would kind of just blew my mind because I had this whole series set up for Satanism that I was planning on doing through rituals and rites and separating fact from fiction and stuff like that, and kind of just showing you the difference between actual Satanism and satanic practices and that of the atheistic duality. Okay. But this kind of just, like I said, put a hindrance on that because of the fact now I got to restructure it. So, and yes, it is a mouthful. And I have no doubt, like I said in the post on Facebook, that I have no doubts that the master called him home. And that, in Mirmidon's own words, is that his soul is guided to the master's kingdom. So, now, with that said, I wanted to come under here because for this one, because of the fact that number one, it is always good to show respect, no matter rank, gender, or knowledge, but also the fact that these 4 Sabbats are a good time to give honor to those who have fallen, like Vokokalakis, okay, like that guy from Lincoln Park, or the best, you know, actor that ever played the Joker. You know what I'm saying, from the Batman Beyond, or starring the Banner guy there. But yeah, there's a lot of people who have taken their own lives over the last couple of years. He's just the most recent. So when you see something like this, or you read about it, it's always a good thing to take pause, kind of reflect upon it, your dealings with the individual. It doesn't matter what field of study they're in. Okay. So when something like this goes down, number one, you want to give recognition. Okay. You want to understand, part of you wants to understand why the hell did he do it? But on the other hand, you know, you got to think, well, they're at peace now. But at the same, I know that kind of sounds like a duality from the JCI, but I will not go into that aspect. That I concur, John. Most people have no freaking clue what it means, and the sad part is that even in a world where, even over the last 50 years, we've seen where knowledge has become more publicized. But even though it's become more publicized, it's still being denounced. It's still being ridiculed. It's still being um, denied. And when you have authors such as Vokokalakis that really get out there and they put the work out there, it's no matter what the cost. That is a good thing because it opens people's eyes. It's like things like I do, or John Saunders. We get out here and we put ourselves out there, and a lot of time what most people who don't have the balls to step up to the plate have to deal with, that they don't deal with, is the bullying, the harassment, the jokers types, those who think it's a game, and those who basically try to denounce your work, stuff like that. Okay, there's so much, and this is just the tip of the iceberg that I just mentioned here. Okay, now a lot of you don't have a clue, as John just put it, is a lot of you don't want to take that responsibility. You don't want to step up and risk losing something. It's out of fear. It's out of doubt. It's out of making an enemy. Okay. That's why most people in the communities go along with the current, the mainstreams like atheistic or JCI, is because they don't want to make ripples. You talk to a Wiccan or a pagan, and they don't want to fight. They don't want to do nothing, because if they did, then they would have to take responsibility. Okay, that's why they hold so dearly to that karmic threefold law. Okay, and even though that's been debunked through actual facts, they still hold on to it for dear life, just like the JCI has held on to that Bible, that book of lies, for over 2,500 years, 2,500 years. Okay. Even though the actual physical Bible, starting with the Vulgate Bible, it started out in the 16th century. Okay. And then branched off like the tree of life into the ones we know today. Now, because they don't want to take responsibility, and because they don't want to step up to the proverbial plate and actually risk things, they basically accept the established norms, which is why it's taken so long for things to become open. Even today, a sister who is utilizing her freedom of religion, expression, and speech is constantly being blocked and banned on Facebook, which is an American company. Okay. You take, for an example, individuals who sit there and make a no bullying rule in their groups. And yet, when you stick up for yourself after being bullied, ridiculed, and having hate speech come your direction, you're the one getting punished. Well, what about these others? Okay. What about those ones who I am defending myself against? You know what I'm saying? But as I said to Gregory K. Kuhn in a post in Demonology Worldwide, is nobody forced you to comment. Nobody has forced you to read or to watch a video or post done by anybody. It was through your own ignorance and stupidity that you chose to make yourself known. Okay. And this is something that happens a lot within social media. A lot of people have big brass balls when they hide behind a computer screen. But how many people literally will walk around in the workplace or out in public with a Baphomet, okay, the sabbatic goat pentagram hanging from their neck, or a crux on their hands, okay? How many of you will actually step up to a member of the community, be it the legal system, be it a bully from, say, the JCI and other areas, okay, that try to hinder your spirituality, your growth, your way of life, okay? The truth is, not many, okay? And until that changes, I don't see anything really changing within the world, especially the structure of the world and the thought forms. I've done a couple of essays, I've done one book. You know, I've been a teacher now since 2013 in the public eye. I've lived under scrutiny. I've made enemies. Um, I've had hate speech. I've been blocked. I've been banned. The whole king caboodle, and it doesn't hinder me because to me, these hypocrites of duality are just small, little minded stepping stones. Okay? They fear what they do not understand. And to quote Alistair Notch, those who have power or control the legal system dictate what is morally or politically correct and acceptable within a community standard. Okay? And this status quo, as Alistair Notch so colorfully painted out in his latest book, those of humanity have done heinous acts since the dawn of time to have a better understanding of self evolution, spirituality. They tried owning the rights to everything. Even through the JCI, they made the legal system, the rights, the laws, and that if you break them, you will be punished. You look at social media today, Facebook, and you look at YouTube, same exact thing. Now you have these little buttons where you have to push not for minors, age restricted, just to get on here and to do a video. Okay. Now, in the past, you just get on, type in a label, hit stream, plain and simple. Now they're making it more legalized yet again. Okay. So, like the satanic panic, like that of the Eon of Aquarius, like that of the burning times, the witch trials, and the crucifixions. Okay. We're seeing the same thing starting up again today. All right. It is the fear factor, it is that need for control. Everybody wants knowledge and wisdom, but they're afraid to let go and actually gain it. Okay. That is actually true. Money is a tool of slavery. Now, so I mean, when you get people who've been bullied, been harassed so much, it's called tyranny, basically. And in the United States, it is illegal. Okay. It is the same thing as cyber bullying, it is a federal offense. Okay. So, I mean, this is why it helps to know your laws. It really does help to know your legal rights, both within a corporation and individualism. Okay. Not just legal, from your federal government all the way down into what is known as the borough laws. Okay. You have the United States constitutional rights of freedom of religion with freedom of speech. Two different amendments: freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Okay, and it is designed, and religion is designed by three characteristics. Number one, do you have doctrines? Number two, do you have followers? And number three, do you have a structure? Okay. Now, by structure, that means a church, an organization. Okay. Even a Facebook group is considered a church, an order, a temple. Okay. And Therefore, under the First Amendment, it is a recognized religion. Okay? Freedom of speech allows you to say whatever the fuck you want to say. Okay? Right there. Boom. Right online. Guess what? Freedom of speech. Okay? That is your legal right to do. All right? But a lot of people hide behind that because as soon as somebody comes on and they say your post has been blocked or removed due to negative uh, standards that go against our community rules. Okay, well, guess what? Who set these community rules up? Not me. Not the community. The corporation does. It owns that specific channel, be it Facebook, be it YouTube, both of which are an American made corporation. Okay. Therefore, they have to abide by the United States legal system. Okay. And so when they start limiting you, send it back with a message saying, you either undo this or I'm going to get a lawyer and sue you for religious discrimination or my constitutional rights violations or violations of my United States constitutional rights, I should say. Okay. And within about 24 hours, boom, your post is back up. Why? Because you just stood up for your rights and they realized, oh, crap. Guess what? I don't want to mess with this guy. But then you got other members of your community, be it in Satanism or be it in witchcraft, okay, who really take offense to certain things, like, say, blood sacrificing or animal sacrificing. Okay, but yet they forget they themselves, their ancestors. Okay, what did I just read in the 13 Laws of the Brotherhood? Number one, always remember your ancestors. Why? Because they themselves utilize both human and animal sacrificing. Okay, throughout history, art, mythology, any tradition magically that has been practiced and performed has utilized these things, even necromancy, even Satanism, even witchcraft, even shamanism, okay, druidism, even not just voodoo or voodoo, hoodooism, palo mayombe, quimbanda, umbanda, okay, they've all done this throughout history. It's nothing new, but yet now we live in a system where they're saying that is morally and politically incorrect. Okay, it's unacceptable. Okay, so when we think of Satanism and fallen brethren, some people just have enough. They sink into depression and they end their own life. Others, well, it's just a medical situation in that case. But for the most part, if you look at the statistics of suicide, it is really due to bullying, which is why it is a federal offense. Okay. So keep that in mind. Corporations are protected by what is known as the Ramsey Law. Okay. Look into it. The Freedom of Religion Act goes all the way back to the 17th century. So that is nothing new. It has been restructured about 3 times from the 1700s to the last one was the late, I want to say 80s, early 80s area, late 70s. And the last one was back in, I want to say, the 90s. Okay. So religions have been, the Freedom of Religious Acts have been restructured and rewritten so many times. People forget about past orthodoxies. And yes, I just quoted from the 9 satanic sins put forth by Anton Xander LaVey, a known devil worshiper. Okay? Not to be mistaken for today's COS or Church of Satan, who is atheistic in nature. And to quote Alistair Natch, again, to reference him, what's the point of saying Hail Satan if you don't believe in heaven, hell, Satan, demons, spirits, magic? You see where I'm going with this? Even Vokalakis Oriax quoted this in his book. The first 2 chapters, to be precise. First 2 chapters discusses this in great detail. You know, it's ridiculous that people have to limit themselves to adversities or to limit themselves within subdivisions. Well, if you go against our coven, you're known as an oathbreaker and a betrayer, a warlock. Well, in the old days, a warlock was a male practitioner equivalent of that of a witch. The wise men and women of a culture, such as a village, a tribe. This predates Zoroastrianism. This predates Christianity. It goes all the way back to Aramaic, Syriac, Mesopotamian, Indo-European, Greco-Greek. You even go back to, say, pre-Roman culture, and you're going to see the exact same thing. You look at how the JCI utilizes the male at the top of the household, okay, and then the ranking system. That actually predates Italian culture, okay? First dynasty, before the Roman Empire was even created or thought of in conception of the womb, okay? Yeah, same here. And I do concur with that, John. I was honored and I was lucky enough to get a where is it here? A sec here. I gotta there it is. Autographed edition. So that book is going to be sitting on the shelf. I will be using the paperback for rituals and everything else. But yeah, really get into your laws and your legal system rights, because of the fact that it will help you within your struggle against these tyrannical freedom fighters who think they're doing justice because they've been led to believe something that is not true. Okay. And when you get on things like social media, you're going to come into the same context, just in a different subtitle, substature and everything. So really get into this, and it'll help you in the long run. True. And, to quote Anton Zandelavay from The Devil's Notebook, an essay that he had written in there was, why should I go out and buy something new when I've already got it from 20 to 40 years prior? All you've done is repackaged it so many times and prettied it up with a cute little bow. That's all they're doing. It's called consumerism. They're taking what has already been. Look at Hollywood produced films. Prime example right there. They have no independent logic to create something new. No. Every movie that has been coming out for the last 10 years is just remakes of something that's been done 20 years ago. Okay? They took that movie, what was it? Patrick Swayze's movie, was it Breaking Dawn? Dawn? I think it was Dawn. I think where World War III took place, and they were down in Texas and they invaded. You know, the Portuguese and all them invaded America, and and stuff like that. And then a couple years back, with the guy that plays Thor in the new Thor movies, you know, he's now an ex-Marine and the Eastern Seaboard. And the guy that died in the first one, oh, guess what? They brought him back as the same character for the second movie. Wow. So you see my point. It's been done to death. All they're doing is repackaging something that's already been done. The rules and the community rules is just another example of what's already been done. They're just repackaging it and rewording it to make it look new. Okay? If you don't believe me, dig into it. Look at the witch trials. Look at the burning times. Look at the Renaissance. Look at Roman culture, specifically that of 550 um, CE. Okay, the the third I'm going to call it the era. I guess you can call it the third era of or dynasty of the Roman Empire. Okay, where the church was not only rejuvenated but given full authority to start limiting things. 550 CE. Okay, you're right about that, John. It's not a game. It's about survival of the fittest, and only the strong shall survive. Anton Zandaleve. Okay. Now, I've had my own trials. I've had my own battles that I've had to fight. But for the most part, my reputation is that of education. It is of bringing content of what was to light. Okay. Through the light of Lucifer. All right. I'll play the devil's game and I will bring you forth the content that you need to know. Like the serpent to the Garden of Eden with Eve. What's that old expression from season 7 of Buffy, the Vampire Slayer, by Nathan Fallon? Oh, right. If I offer her an apple, what can she do but to take it? It's called temptation, which is also one of the 7 deadly sins put forth by a 2nd century monk, and later 16th, 17th century associated with demonology. Again, prime example. But my point is this. Even though we're going to have trials, even though there's going to be battles to fight, the wisdom is to pick and choose how you deal with these battles, these hypocrites, these dualities, and these limiting effects. Now, you can go out and you can make a big fuss, okay? Um, or you can simply remember that why should I just sit there and get all upset in public when I can just go home to my altar and curse your ass into damnation, into non-existence? You see, there's more than one way to deal with insects. It's not just going off and taking a swing at somebody. And if you take a swing at somebody, you're going to get your ass thrown in prison for assault. But if you remember to stay cool, stay collected, just give them a good smile, like, have a nice day. You're going to need it. And then when you get home, take all that pent up frustration, all that anger, that hurt feelings, if you're butthurt over it, take that mental image of the situation, call upon Azrael, call forth Alistair, call forth Abraxas, you know, bring it into full magnitude with Abraxas, you know, Alistair the Executioner, also substituted for in the Secrets of Solomon by H, Peter H. Or I should say Peterson, and you know, whereas Astaroth is a Duke, third in command. You know, look at all the demons of desire, like say Asmodai, demon of desire, bring him forth from the Book of Tobit. Call forth the old serpent Dagon from the Chaldean era. Maybe Pazuzu from Mesopotamia, Set, an Egyptian. If you really want to get nasty, go with the death gods like Supe. Go into say Anubis, Hades, go into Arish Kagal and Quilalitu. And that was the name from the other video that I couldn't remember, Quilalitu, the one that VK actually talked about, and probably was one of the ones that got him in hot water with the Messager Cabal system that Marcus and always talks about. I wouldn't say always talks about. There's a few videos that he actually discussed VK in. But anyways, just remember these things. There's more than one way to skin a cat. Okay. Metaphorically speaking, of course. It's kind of like running a debit card in one of those machines there, the little slots. Swiping, you get that Hollywood, duplicate beeping noise. So you try to put the chip in, does the same exact thing. Well, guess what? What's next? You type in the number. Same exact thing, just in magical sequence. Okay? In magical sequence, you can utilize what you know to inflict that other individual. You don't have to sit there and let them know that, hey, guess what? I'm going to go back to my altar room and curse your ass. No. Who cares? Okay? Just say, have a nice day, smile, walk away. Diffuse the situation, leave them pissed off more than they already are. When you get home, do that ritual. Call forth the beings of destruction, hate, rage, warfare, whatever, like the 36 Deacons of Destruction, Munich manuscript, and then just lay it on them. Put it out there in the ether and let it just trickle down to that individual. I was actually contacted by a woman I haven't talked to in a while, that I've known for a while, but it was through a mutual friend. So she's actually inquiring about curses. She knows nothing about it, but she's pretending. She's a pretender. So she thinks she's been cursed. So she thinks her family's been cursed. So she's wondering if he did it or that he had me do it. It's that paranoia. You'll leave them wondering. Put on that persona and play the game. But play it to win. Knowledge is power. True power is wisdom. And undefiled wisdom is true power. Plain and simple. But to be a sorcerer or a sorceress, you have to keep in mind the Sabbaths, all the deals that you've made. You have to have that respect, that honor, that integrity, and holding up your end. And when you've been around as long as myself and some of these others like John Saunders or Volker Kalakis Oryx, Michael W. Ford, say, for example, Myrmidon Pontifex Maximus, and one of them seems, has fallen, you got to pay homage. You got to remember them, remember how they lived, what they've done for Satan and the community, the satanic community, for knowledge, for wisdom, and for the dark craft. It's something that you need to do because it's a part of what we are and who we are about. It's not just about warfare, it's not just about doing rituals. It's about upholding your oath. It's about honoring the fallen, the ancestors, those who came before. And in today's world, so many take it for granted. They take it as a game or a joke until they experience something first hand. And then they get that proverbial dildo out of their ass and realize, oh crap, I was a fool. Well, guess what? You chose to limit yourself. You chose the arrogance, the disloyalty. You choose to approach it as a game. And these beings just kicked your ass and knocked you down a few pegs. That is the type of spiritual power that is considered to be an awakening. But only you can discern how you want to live, how you want to be remembered. Do you want to lead by example? Or do you want to live your life in duality and conflict? Personally, since I got involved in the Mazajira Cabal system, I put up all these cloaks and seals and stuff around my home. And over the last year, I have seen a lot of this drama and a lot of this chaos just fade into oblivion. Spectacular and peaceful. It's true spirituality. As a necromancer and traditional Satanist, I have to say Egio Satanas to my brother and fallen friend, Vocal Calacus, Oriax, Magus. You will be respected and you will be honored during the Sabbaths, especially the Day of the Dead. In nomine di nostri Satanae Luciferi Excelsi. In nomine Domini Spiritus Mundi Est. In nomine Ordo Novus Seclorum, in nomine Satanae, in domus di ornament Osium, memento mori. Hail Satan. Have a good day.